Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. In today's video I'm going to be comparing all my PV19 paints. And these are all the single pigment PV19 watercolors. I have some others which are based on PV19, but as they're not single pigment I didn't include them. Okay, so first up is a student grade paint. This one is Van Gogh Quinacridone Rose. So like most Van Gogh paints, this one is pretty good. I've used it a little in the past, not much, but I don't remember having any problems with it. It might not be quite as highly pigmented as some artist grade paints, but yeah, still very bright and very vibrant. And of course, excellent value. Next we have Kusakabe Ruby Red. So Kusakabe is a Japanese brand that is pretty widely available here in Thailand. I'm not too sure if you can get it outside of Asia though. It's priced not much more than Van Gogh, and it's probably similar to Cotman. But Kusakabe do claim to be artist grade, but in my experience I found them to be a bit below most artist grade brands. Not to say that they're bad, in fact they're quite good value. I mean, maybe they're slightly better than Van Gogh and Cotman. But they do use quite a few fugitive pigments in their range, so you have to be careful with your choices. Saying that, this Ruby Red looks pretty great to me. It's lovely, vibrant, and very nice to paint out. Next we have Daniel Smith Quinacridone Red. Yeah, this one's really very highly pigmented paint. I mean, as you would expect from Daniel Smith. I didn't see much flow when it hit the wet paper though. Yeah, this one looks like an excellent paint to me. Next we have Da Vinci Red Rose Deep. Yeah, this one flows really nicely on the wet paper. I kind of expected the Daniel Smith to be like that. Yeah, this one looks like a really excellent PV19 to me. It's really bright, vibrant, and yeah, a joy to paint out. Next up is Lukas 1862 Genuine Rose. Anytime I've used this paint in the past, I've always found it to be a bit strange. It always seems to be more opaque than you would expect a PV19 to be. I mean, is this because it's full of fillers? I don't know, but there is a common complaint by many people about Lukas paints that they're pretty chalky. I mean, this one doesn't look too bad here though, alongside the other PV19s. I guess we'll see how it looks when it's dry. And next we have Winsor Newton Permanent Rose. Yeah, right away I can feel that this paint is really good quality. It's really vibrant and it re-wet really easily from the pan. Yeah, it's just a really nice paint, this one. Next we have Schmincke Horadam Permanent Carmine. This one re-wet really nicely from the half pan that I have. I mean, Schmincke paints are always really nice to paint out, and this one's no exception. Yeah, again, a very nice paint. Next we have another Da Vinci PV19. This one is Da Vinci Carmine. This one looks quite different from the Schmincke before it. It's much more blue leaning. Yeah, it kind of... Yeah, it makes the Schmincke look a bit orange in comparison. At least to my eyes. But yeah, it's another excellent paint from Da Vinci. And next is our third Da Vinci PV19. And this one is Alizarin Crimson. I made a whole video on this paint 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think, where I compared it to the genuine Alizarin Crimson pigment. And I was actually quite surprised at how close a match it was. Yeah, I think if I was looking for an Alizarin Crimson hue, then I'd say this one would be pretty high on the list. Yeah, it's a really good paint. And now on to the final PV19. And this is Rembrandt Permanent Red Violet. As you can see, it's very different from the previous 9. I mean, it really shows how different PV19 paints can be from each other. It's one of those pigments like PR101 or PBR7 that can come in many different disguises. Okay, so that's all of them painted out, and here they are when completely dry. Well, one thing I will say about them is that they're definitely bright. And as I was saying just a minute ago, PV19 paints can be very different from each other. You have 2 types of PV19. One is Quinacridone Rose, which is the red and rose version, which is, as you can see in the first 9 paints here. The other is Quinacridone Violet, which you can see in the Rembrandt Permanent Red Violet. I mean, it's always good to check the paint name and brand color chart when you're buying a PV19, just so you know what you're getting. It's better to do that rather than just rely on the pigment code alone. Okay, so the Van Gogh is really good, excellent value, and it looks really clean here as well. The Kusakabe, yeah, it holds its own against much better known and more expensive paints. The Daniel Smith is excellent. As is the Da Vinci, that's a great one too. The Lukas is still not very good in my opinion. Yeah, I like the Winsor & Newton, it's pretty good. I think I painted the Schmincke out a bit too weak, but it is a very good paint though. And again, both these Da Vincis are, really nice. I think I prefer the Alizarin Crimson of these 2 though. And then finally the Rembrandt. Yeah, I've always loved this colour ever since I got it, but I've never actually found a place for it in my palette though. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to pick a favourite from these paints because I never actually really used PV19. I have tried a few times, but it just sits there in the palette and never gets used. In fact, cool reds and violets in general are just not paints that interest me. But if I absolutely had to pick a favourite, I'd say it's the Van Gogh, because it's a beautiful paint. I'm sure you can mix excellent red and violets with it. Plus it's very, very cheap here. I mean, what's not to like about that? So which of these is your favourite? And what PV19 do you have in your palette? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye bye.